Hi, everyone. I'm Julia, and I'm so excited to be here with our yoga class today, focusing on our sacral or our navel center and our sacral chakra. And this chakra is the center of our creativity, and the color of this chakra is orange. And here I have my chakra stone. Here we can see the yoga symbol of our sacral chakra. Okay. And so this chakra is related to our emotions, our desires, and it's related to sexuality and passion, love, change, movement, assimilation of new ideas. It's related to our health and tolerance and working harmoniously with others. And so this class is going to work on bringing balance into our navel center, into our sacral chakra. And the sacral chakra is located underneath our belly button at our navel center. So right underneath our belly button. So let's make our way onto our mat. So all we need for this practice today are our yoga mats and maybe a glass of water. So go ahead and roll out your yoga mat, and we're going to meet on our yoga mats in the seated cross-leg position. So we're going to make our way onto our yoga mats, sitting up nice and tall here, beginning to feel grounded onto our mats, maybe rocking from side to side, finding our tall seated position, sitting up nice and tall. And we're going to start off this class with our energy breath. I'm going to read you a quote that I like, but starting off our energy breath, once we're sitting up nice and tall, we're going to meet our hands at heart center. And we're going to start to energize our whole body with this energy breath flow. So breathing in, we're expanding through our chest, reaching our arms out, breathing in through our nose, and exhaling, contracting back to center, meeting our hands at heart center. Inhaling up, reaching up our arms, reaching up to the sky, and exhaling back to heart center. And let's continue to move through this flow at our own pace. Inhaling, opening up through our arms, bringing energy into our bodies, beginning to feel present in our bodies, present in the moment, waking up our bodies through our movement. And so a quote that I like relating to this chakra is, whenever you do something, do it as a piece of art. Otherwise, just don't do it. Let everything express the creativity of you. And I love that quote relating to our creativity and our navel center. Maybe setting an intention for this practice, focusing on balancing our sacral chakra, maybe focusing on the color orange. We're just focusing on a white light surrounding us through this practice, bringing us peace and tranquility, bringing us energy and creativity. Let's do our energy breath flows for one more moment. Wonderful job. Meeting our hands at our knees. We can switch legs. If we've crossed one leg in front, we can switch the way our legs are crossed. And we're going to start to move into full body circles, moving through our centers, finding our full range of movement, working through our seated pelvic rotations as we shift forward, releasing our tailbone up, tilting it forward, shifting to the side, and then curving under with our tailbone as we shift back, working and warming up our bodies with this rotation, keeping our hands on our knees, inhaling as we circle forward, and exhaling as we circle back, making really wide rotations. And then let's reverse the direction of the circles, circling in the opposite direction, waking up our navel center, maybe starting to engage our core as we're contracting back, moving through our full body circles. Let's do a couple more. Warming up our bodies, warming up the navel center, circling here. And then sitting back in the center, inhaling together, meeting our palms above our head, and then shifting over to the right side to start, stretching through our side body, keeping both hip bones planted on the mat, reaching over to the side, stretching through our side body. And then walking our hands down through the middle, relaxing through our neck, rounding through our spine, walking our fingertips to the other side and stretching through our opposite side body. Coming up onto our fingertips or choosing maybe to lower down all the way onto the forearm. Wonderful job. Let's repeat this again. Walking our fingers through the center, releasing through our neck, rounding forward and stretching through the opposite side. Breathing into the stretch here. And then rounding forward again. Walking our fingertips back to the left side, stretching through our left side body. Wonderful job. And reaching back up to the sky, interlacing our hands, reaching up to the sky. Inhaling and exhaling, opening up our arms. Let's interlace our hands behind our back, coming into our chest opener, maybe placing our hands on the ground behind us, opening up through our upper body. And then letting go, let's shake out through our arms. Great job. We're going to swivel around our legs, meeting together in the all fours. And we're going to work through a couple child's pose flows. So widening our knees, we're going to sit back into our child's pose, allowing our rib cage to sink down in between our legs, relaxing our forehead on the mat. Just releasing here for a moment, allowing ourselves to fully relax onto our mats. Wonderful job shifting back forward through the all fours, shifting into our modified plank. Really focusing on engaging our core, strengthening our core through this flow. As this really wakes up our navel center, strengthening and toning. Engaging our core here, making sure we're lowering down our hips so that our hips are in alignment with our spine. And then lowering down through a modified chaturanga. Lowering down, elbows hugging into our sides, moving slowly with control all the way onto our bellies. Shifting our forearms forward, lifting up through our centers, coming into our baby cobra. Lowering our upper body down, placing our hands underneath our shoulders, and pressing all the way back into the child's pose. Sitting back into the child's pose. And then let's repeat this 2 more times. Shifting forward, coming into the modified plank, engaging through our centers, getting to wake up our center. Option always to come into the full plank as well. If we'd like more of a challenge, shifting our weight forward, lowering down with control, chaturanga dandasana. Shifting our forearms forward, coming into the baby cobra, or maybe scooting our hands a little farther back and pressing up into the full cobra, engaging through our centers, dropping our shoulders down, looking out in front of us, lowering back down, shifting all the way back, coming back into our child's pose, staying in our child's pose here. Relaxing in the child's pose, shifting back forward, shifting into the modified plank, engaging, lifting up through our navel, hugging our belly buttons in. Wonderful job. Lowering down through our modified chaturanga dandasana, shifting our forearms forward, coming into the baby cobra, or choosing to push up into the full cobra, whatever feels comfortable in our bodies today. Really listening to our bodies, doing what feels comfortable for us, paying attention to how we're feeling through this practice. Lowering back down, shifting our hands underneath our shoulders, engaging our centers as we press all the way back to the child's pose. Wonderful job. Walking our hands back, rolling up through our spine, coming into the hero position, into our kneeling hero position. Inhaling, we sweep up our arms, reaching our arms above our head, meeting our palms together, interlacing our hands, reaching our arms up to the sky, and shifting from side to side here. Moving side to side, our lateral extension and flexion, engaging through our centers. Wonderful job opening up through our arms, placing our hands down on the mat, coming into our first down dog, tucking under our toes, lifting our hips up to the sky. Always having the option to keep our legs nice and bent to help us with straightening out our back. Bending through our knees and lengthening. Bending again and lengthening. Bending once again. Now let's walk our feet to meet our hands at the front of our mats. Releasing forward in our forward fold. Maybe rocking from side to side. Maybe shaking our head out, nodding our head. Releasing through our neck. Bending deeper through our legs. Opening up through our arms, swan dive up, meeting our hands above our head, and then hands back to heart center. Wonderful job. Let's move into our, next, into our wide leg stance, cat and cow flow. And here we're focusing on our pelvic tilts. So sitting back a little bit into a chair position, we're going to place our hands above our knees. And first, we're going to arch our spine, coming into our cat position, tilting our hips back, opening up through our chest. On our inhale, exhale, we're contracting, engaging through our centers, rounding through our spine, always having an option to bend our knees a little bit deeper here. Inhaling, coming back into the standing wide leg cat position, maybe widening our legs a little bit underneath our hips. And then contracting, rounding through the spine, tilting our hips under, coming into the cow position. Extending our spine, tilting our hips back. Opening up through our chest. And then contracting. Let's move through a couple more of these. Opening up, inhaling as we're expanding, and exhaling as we're contracting. Let's do 2 more. Moving at our own pace. Wonderful job. Rolling up tall, meeting in our mountain position. Let's just shake everything out. Shake, 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 letting it all go. Great job. Meeting back in our wide leg stance, continuing to warm up. Let's meet our hands at our hips, and we're going to bend our knees slightly. And then we're just going to move through some big hip rotations, focusing on waking up energy, our creativity, circling our hips, moving in whatever way feels good for us, circling through our hips, allowing our hips to be free in the movement, just enjoying the movement. Maybe closing our eyes here, focusing on ourselves, seeing how we're feeling, just circling here, focusing on the rotation of our hips, tilting our pelvis. Really finding that full range of motion. And let's reverse the direction of the circles, circling in the opposite direction. Circling through our hips. Wonderful job. Moving at whatever speed feels good for us. Maybe we want to move a little bit quicker, or maybe we want to move a little bit slower. Really enjoying the movement. always focusing on our core, engaging our centers. Our core is our powerhouse. It's the center of our balance. It's really essential for our posture as well. Wonderful job. Great job. Meeting back in the center. Now let's just shake it out again, releasing any stagnant energy, shaking it all out. Great job. Wonderful job, everybody. Now feel free to get a little sip of water, and then we're going to move into a sun salutation flow. I'm going to scoop that a little bit more forward. We're standing up tall in our mountain position at the front of our mat, standing up tall. Finding our tall stance, lifting up through our centers, engaging through our core. Great job, standing up tall in the mountain, sweeping our arms up. We inhale together, meeting our palms together, taking a slight arch back. If it's within our practice, shifting our hips forward, engaging through our centers. Opening up our arms, we swan dive down, bending through our knees, diving down with a flat back, releasing forward into our forward fold. Looking up halfway, our hands meet above our knees, releasing back down. Let's plant our hands on the mat. And now we're going to step our right foot back up into a high lunge position. Holding here. We're going to shift the right foot forward just a bit, planting our foot on the mat. Our toes are turned out slightly. Let's sweep up our arms, meeting together in our warrior one position. Our arms are reaching up to the sky. Our hip bones are pointed forward. Or feeling a stretch through that back calf muscle, bending deep through this front knee, lifting up through our centers. Maybe we're feeling an opening up of the hip flexor in our warrior one position. Now we're opening up through our arms, opening up through our hips and our back toes. Our back toes now pointed to our forward. Coming into our strong warrior two position, reaching out long from fingertip to fingertip, bending deeper through that front knee. Finding our warrior two position, looking over those front fingertips. Wonderful job. Let's come into our peaceful warrior, placing our back hand on our back leg, reaching our left arm is reaching over above our head. Coming back to the warrior two, let's come into our side angle, placing that left forearm over top of the left knee, reaching through our side body, creating one long line from our right fingertips all the way through that right heel. Great job. Meeting back in the warrior two, straightening out that front knee. Let's stick out our back hips, and we're coming into our triangle position, placing our hand wherever it may fall, opening up through our side body, either looking up to the sky or looking down to our mats, getting in the triangle position. Wonderful job. Let's meet back, bending that front knee, meeting back in the warrior two. Let's cartwheel our hands down, planting our hands on the mat, turning in our back leg. We're going to step our left leg steps back to meet the right foot, coming into our down dog position, always having the option to keep our knees bent, tilting our hips up to the sky. Feeling the stretch in our calf muscles and our hamstrings, bending through our knees. And we're going to walk our feet to meet our hands at the front of our mats. Looking up halfway, releasing back down, bending through our knees, swan diving up to the sky. Our hands meet together and hands meet to heart center. Wonderful job with that sun salutation. Let's repeat that on the left side. So meeting back, standing up tall in our mountain position, lifting up through our centers, dropping our shoulders down and back, closing those lower ribs, lowering them down. A slight bend in our knees if we tend to lock our knees or hyperextend. A slight bend in our knees. Our palms are open and facing forward, lifting up through our centers. Inhaling, we sweep up our arms, reaching our hands together, meeting our palms together above our head, looking up to the sky, shifting our hips forward, taking a slight arch back. Opening up through our arms, we swan dive down, bending through our knees, lowering down with a flat back. Looking up halfway. Releasing back down. Now we're going to step back this time with our left foot steps back into a lunge. Shifting our foot forward, planting our foot on the mat, reaching our arms up, coming into our warrior one position, bending deep through that front knee. Our hip bones are pointing forward. We're lifting up through our centers. We're feeling a stretch in the back calf muscle and maybe an opening up in the left hip flexor in the front of our hip. Reaching our arms up to the sky. I'm going to turn around to face you, but stay where you are. Great job. We're in our warrior one, then we're opening up our arms, opening up our hips, and our back toes are now pointing forward. Coming into our warrior two position, bending deeper through that front knee, making sure that our knee is in alignment over top of this ankle. Opening up our arms, reaching long from our fingertip to fingertip, one long line. In our warrior two, looking over those front fingertips, feeling our strength here. Feeling our strength in the warrior two position, placing our back arm on our back leg, reaching over through our side body. We're coming into the peaceful warrior position, bending deeper through that front knee, and then releasing back to the warrior two position. Let's place that front forearm above the front knee, reaching through our side body, coming into our side angle, either looking up to the sky or looking down to the mat, bending deeper through that front knee, feeling the engagement of our hamstrings. Coming back into the warrior two position, let's straighten out that front leg, sticking out our hip a little bit in the back, meeting in the triangle position. Releasing forward, placing our hand on the front leg, coming into the triangle, opening up through our side body. And if we have any tension in our neck, feeling free to look down to the mat, still opening up. Bending back through the front knee, coming into the warrior two position, cartwheeling our legs around the front foot, coming back into our lunge position, placing our hands on the mat, taking a big step back. Our right foot steps back to meet the left foot. Great job. Meeting back in the down dog, bending through our knees, really tilting our hips up to the sky. Bending and lengthening. Bending our knees again and lengthening. Bending them again and lengthening. Let's bend through our knees, taking a few steps forward or hop forward, meeting our feet to our hands in the forward fold. Bending through our knees, swan diving back up, meeting our palms together above our head and palms to heart center. Great job with that sun salutation. You can feel free to get another sip of water. We're going to make our way down to our mats. Let's first start with a stretch, meeting our feet together. Now that we're nice and warm, we can move into a stretch. Meeting in our butterfly position. Our feet are together, our knees are open. And let's start by just creating big circles, starting from our navel center, circling our bodies, maybe closing our eyes here, finding really nice big movements. Circling here, maybe keeping our hands around our feet, or we can also keep our hands on our knees. Focusing on the way our pelvis is tilting. contracting as we circle back, and shifting forward as we circle forward. Reversing the direction of our circles. Wonderful job. And then just relaxing forward into the stretch, releasing forward. Letting go of our hips, letting go of our inner thighs here. Coming back up, let's extend our legs out in front of us. Our feet are planted on the mat, keeping our hands underneath our shoulders or underneath our knees. We're going to roll down slowly with control, rolling down into our laying position with our feet planted on the mat. We're just going to shift our knees from side to side, shifting our knees from side to side. Releasing our lower back, windshield wipering our knees, meeting together. Now we're going to move into some bridges. Our arms are long by our sides, engaging our centers, closing the space between our back and the mat, rolling up through our spine, nice and slow with control, lifting up into our bridge position. Holding here, lifting our hips a little bit higher up, and then rolling back down, moving slowly with control, engaging through our hips, engaging our hamstrings and our core, and then releasing, letting our back arch, letting there be some space in between our back and the mat. And then let's repeat this again, engaging our centers. We're closing off the space between our back and the mat, rolling up into our bridge position, engaging our core, lifting up a little bit higher, and then rolling back down. Let's repeat this a couple more times, moving at our own pace, moving through our bridge flows. Seeing how slowly we can move, really controlling each movement, really massaging through our spine. And be inhaling as we lift up and exhaling as we lower back down, moving at our own pace. Let's do 2 more. Roll it down, releasing our back, engaging through our center, rolling up with control, meeting together at the top, lifting another centimeter up and rolling back down and releasing, engaging through our centers, rolling up to the top of our bridge, lifting another inch and rolling back down. Wonderful job. Let's hug our knees into our chest, decompressing our spine and just releasing, rocking from side to side here. Hugging our knees into our chest. And then meeting our hands or our legs at tabletop, we're going to do one more gentle exercise for our core strength. Focusing on our navel, engaging our core, welcoming vitality and energy into our bodies, reaching our arms up to the sky, dropping our shoulders down. Our legs are in a tabletop position. Our core is engaged. Our belly button is hugging in through this exercise. We're going to first reach our right toes down to the mat. making sure that we're not arching our spine. We're still keeping that space closed between our back and the mat as we're tapping our toe down and back to center. Now we can tap our left toes down to the mat, really engaging through our centers as our toe is down on the mat, back to center, dropping our shoulders down and tapping again, engaging through our centers and back to the tabletop, tapping with our left toes down and back. And if we'd like to add a challenge onto this exercise, we can reach the opposite arm back as leg that it is extending down. So our left arm is back and our right toes are tapping, engaging through our centers, closing our ribs. So we don't have to reach our arm all the way back, just reaching it back and back to center. Opposite arm is leg, reach out and to center. Reaching out and center, out and center, reaching and center. Let's hug our knees into our chest, releasing for a moment here, and then let's repeat that one more time. Meeting back in the tabletop, reaching our arms up to the sky, tapping down, opposite arm is leg, really engaging our centers, closing off our ribs, pressing our belly button into our spine. Opposite arm is leg, reach out and back to center. Opposite arm is leg and center. Once again, reaching and center. Reaching and center. And one last time on each side. Reaching, opposite arm is leg, back to center. Reaching and center. Great job strengthening our cores today. Relaxing. Just closing our eyes here, rocking from side to side. Reaching our legs up long, up to the sky, finding some gentle foot circles, stretching through our calf muscles, releasing through our hamstrings, circling through our ankles, reversing the direction of the circles, circling our feet in the opposite direction, and then lowering our legs down, extending our legs. Let's actually meet our feet together, coming into it's like a butterfly position. If this is uncomfortable for us, feeling free just to extend our legs in the final relaxation. But if it does feel comfortable, meeting our feet together, opening up through our knees, we're going to place one hand on our heart and one hand on our navel center, so underneath our belly button, and closing our eyes here. Just focusing on our breath, coming together in our final relaxation. Focusing on an orange light, bright orange light, shining bright from our navel center. Inhaling in positive energy. Exhaling out anything that's not serving us today. Staying here, just relaxing. Fully letting go, releasing into our mats. Feeling a sense of gratitude, thanking ourselves for taking time for this practice, taking time to focus on our physical as well as our mental and energetic well-being. Feeling a sense of tranquility and calmness flowing over us. Just relaxing here, focusing on our breath. feeling free to stay here as long as we'd like to. But if we're ready to close out our practice, we can use our hands to help guide our knees back together, beginning to wiggle our fingers and toes, circling through our ankles and wrists, waking back up our bodies nice and slow, feeling free to keep our eyes closed here. Reaching one arm above our head, rolling onto our sides, pressing up whenever we are ready, coming into the seated position, sitting up nice and tall on our mats. Let's take a cleansing inhale together, sweeping our arms up, bringing in our new cultivated positive energy, and meeting our hands at heart center. Inhaling, sweeping up, breathing in a cleansing inhale through our nose and exhale through our mouth, meeting our hands at heart center. And let's do one more cleansing inhale together, opening up our arms, sweeping our arms up, breathing in together, and exhaling, meeting our hands to our third eye and our hands to our heart center. And together we say, Namaste, Namaste. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me for this practice. Also, be sure to thank yourselves for showing up and taking time for yourself, focusing on your health and well-being. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And I hope you really enjoyed this yoga practice, focusing on our sacral chakra. Thank you. Bye.